right, today's guest, a singer, actor, host, the host of the Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm very excited to say I feel like I know this man because I go to a lot of the Vegas games and he's a huge part of the team. He is the team, let's be honest. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Shunock, welcome to the Are
What's
We Show
up?
podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. Excited to be here.
We appreciate it. So, we were excited for this interview. Like I just said, I've been to a few of the games, and when I try to explain to people what it's like going to a Vegas Golden Knights game, unless you've been in that building with you on the mic, no one can experience unless they're live. I've been to a Stanley Cup final when the Ducks lifted the cup. I've been to the Canadian World Juniors. It still doesn't compare to a playoff game and hell, a Monday night game in Vegas. I mean, it's just unreal, the experience going to a game out there in Vegas.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. So hockey's in our blood and my family. And, my father's been a part of the Sault Greyhounds since the late 80s. He actually acquired the franchise from Phil and Tony Esposito in 1988. And, I was like a kid, like anybody else in Canada, growing up, you want to play the game. And we did play the game, and we grew up in an amazing city. And, to be able now to come full circle, having a small entertainment career, and now to come around and be working full time in sports is really you guys get it, man. You work in sports. It's not a job. It's just a blessing to be able to walk into T-Mobile every night for a Golden Knights hockey game. And the community in hockey is very special. And it's something that, I hold near and dear. And when people know I'm from the Sioux, man, and they come up and give me high fives, we got Greyhound jerseys at hockey games that pop up every now and then. It's been a wild ride, and we're in Las Vegas, so we do things a little differently out here.
It's a show, and I remember my first experience. Corey and I, who's here, he knows. We actually went to. I think your first game, Corey, was that Stanley Cup Finals Game 1 against Washington, and the chills through your body walking through just when warmups begin. Mark, as you know, it just goes through your body, and it's just, like I said, there's no experience like it. But for you, how did you get in touch with the Knights, and how did this begin? I know you're with the Raiders as well, but how did it start with the Knights? 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, I was performing in Rock of Ages. So I'm a Broadway guy, and Rock of Ages came to Vegas, and I was performing at the Venetian every night. And our owner, Bill Foley, announced that he wanted to, at least dabble in bringing pro hockey to Vegas. And so I literally was in my dressing room one night, and I cold called Fidelity Financial and said, "Hey, my name is Mark. I want to help." And he had one employee at the time. His name is Todd Pollock. He's still with the team. He's in charge of ticketing. I think he's the VP of ticketing and experiences now with the team. And his job was to put a committee together and get a group of like-minded individuals in Vegas to help spread the word that Vegas wants hockey. That was the name of the committee. Vegas wants hockey. And our job was, that standard, hey, give me $1,000 for a season ticket deposit. And they'd be like, for what? For a hockey team. What team? Well, it doesn't exist yet. So, it was a challenge. It's not like other markets like Quebec City. If they did something, they'd probably sell 20,000 season ticket subscriptions in minutes. Seattle did it. They did it in a day. It took us about 3 weeks, but we did 14,000 deposits, and the rest is history. Todd is a dear friend of mine. He actually came to my show a bunch of times. And when they finally put a front office together and they hired Johnny Greco as the original entertainment director here, who's now with the Kraken, he found out about my entertainment background and he was like, "Hey, you want to host for us?" And obviously I'm going to say, yeah, it's a brand new franchise, and that's how it all started. And it's been a ride, man. 5 seasons now, playoffs every year. It's unheard of. And like you mentioned, to be able to go to the Stanley Cup final in our first season, it's something I'll never forget. And I thought for sure after game 1, and we won game 1, I was like, we're going to win this thing. We were 3 wins away from a Stanley Cup. And, obviously we lost the next 4 straight, but it's okay. It was a ride, and I'm a part of this team in a small little way. I play a small piece to an incredible franchise here in Vegas, and really think the Vegas Golden Knights changed the landscape in Las Vegas forever. It showed the world that pro sports can work here. Raiders, it's only a matter of time before we get an NBA team. The WNBA Aces, they're kicking butt. Female team is awesome. We're going to have an indoor football league around the corner. So kid in a candy store.
Yeah, and as in regards to that cup, I think good things come to those who wait, and I do truly feel it's right around the corner for you Knights. That's awesome, and you see the ripple effect, like you just mentioned, from the Knights. I really do feel the Raiders would not be coming to Vegas without that fan base originally with the Knights, and touch on also the Vegas strong movement. I believe when that happened, I think that wasn't obviously, my God, that wasn't planned, but how the community really banded together, and then going into that first season. Can you speak on that a little bit, Mark?
Yeah, I tell this story a lot. Johnny Greco and Aaron Sequeira, who were in charge of entertainment with the Golden Knights in season 1, they were tasked with probably the toughest task that they will ever face in their careers. They're both up in Seattle working for the Kraken now, and they're probably hands down the best in the business at what they do. And, I was honored to be able to work under them for a couple seasons. The 10-1 shooting obviously is something that will forever define Las Vegas a little bit. We carry it with us pretty close to our chests. I don't think anybody who lives here wasn't affected by the shooting. We all knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. That's 1 degree of separation from that tragic night. We had a party planned, brand new franchise. It's Vegas, so you can imagine what was in store for a brand new NHL franchise to hit the Las Vegas Strip. And less than 10 days later, we had to pivot. I think we opened our season on the 7th or 8th. I forget the exact date, but it was a week after the shooting. And what Aaron and Johnny put together is something that I think I'll carry with me forever, just to be a part of that opening night ceremony. And I think having a pro team bring 18,000 people into a building for the first time in the history of the city, forget hockey, it could have been any sport. There's 18,000 fans walking into a stadium, and they were given the opportunity to heal together as a community. That didn't happen in Vegas prior to sports being here, right? Like, there was no gatherings like that. Concerts, big events, yes, but a sports team that was built from the ground up, that is Vegas born. That's where the hashtag came from. I think that's really what helped the city heal. The Golden Knights really helped the community heal from such a tragic event. And like I said, it was a beautiful evening. Johnny and Aaron knocked it out of the park. And it's something that we'll be talking about forever. We launched our season honoring those killed in just a stupid crime. But it's something that I think defines our city now, and that's something that the Golden Knights will carry with them forever.
The community really came together. Mark, Corey here. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, man, I love that Manscaped sign behind you. That's
Let's go. Hey,
We'll get you some.
I got the nose trimmer and
we'll get you. Yeah, we'll send out a little care package for you.
No, I got it. No need, man. I'm already.
You already got it. You're good. Okay, we'll still give you something good though.
All right.
Listen, it's nighttime, baby. I wanted to say that starting off, but I've been to games. Bobby's been to games. He already mentioned that. I have friends in the show in the NHL that are playing. They say it's the best barn to be a part of, even if you're a visitor, right? Yeah. The energy and the entertainment's so high, and you're a big piece to it. You get the crowd going, and it stands out completely being there if you're playing there. My question is, what guys did you look up to? Was it like the Buffer brothers? Where did you get like that piece of you where the entertainment and energy, with all that?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I have no idea. I think I'm just spoiled in the sense that I have an acting background. I went to New York City as a 19-year-old and was fortunate to study with some of the best acting teachers on the planet. And, I spent 20 years in the entertainment industry, just getting really good at subletting my apartment and going wherever the jobs took me. As a theater actor in New York, you're in Connecticut 1 month, then you're doing a play in Massachusetts, you're off Broadway, you're on, you're everywhere, and I think that aspect of my life, getting the confidence to just, be okay in front of a lot of people and take on roles. And, I was an actor for 20 years. And I think coming into this world now as a sports host, working with the Raiders and, Top Rank Boxing on ESPN and the Golden Knights, I came at it as a fan. I didn't go to school for journalism. I didn't go to school to become a host. So I took all my acting chops, but then really just let it go and became a fan of the sport. it's a ton of work. You know, as you guys know, you got to do your research. You got to know who these fighters are, where they're from, where these players are, who they're from, where they play, where their mom went to school, you know, all the crazy stuff that goes into it. But at the end of the day, I'm no different than the guy who paid $150 to sit on the glass. Well, $500 to sit on the glass. Who are we kidding? And, you know, I come at it as a fan. It's raw. It's real. I'm not faking it. I'm a fan of the game. And I know the inside and outs of everything Vegas Golden Knights, and I'm passionate about the sport. I love the National Hockey League. I'm blessed to be able to work for the league for all their premier events as well. I just got back from the Winter Classic, and, you know, I think it just resonates with people. Like, I'm a fan, you know, I'm just like you guys. You do your show because you love doing your show. I love walking into the arena. I love writing scripts and coming up with pump up hype videos, whatever they may be. It's just a kid in a candy store. So I think that's where it comes from, man. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, you never have to go to work when you love what you do. You know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we do here at the podcast with the family and the brothers. I mean, again, I told you, we're out here near Anaheim. So obviously the Ducks are our wife and the Knights are my mistress, is what I like to say. So, yeah. And what a mistress to have. It is like going to a freaking nightclub. When you walk into that place, you're a huge part of that.
Yeah. What's amazing is where you guys are based. You know, I lived in California in Los Angeles for 9 years, and my pomade is from OC. I use Suavecito, you know.
There you go.
Yep. I wear Violent Gentleman.
Oh yeah.
I have so much of their stuff. So what's awesome is, you know, I'll never forget the Gretzky trade to the Kings and what it did for the sport, and not just the sport, for California, man. Like, it made California cool. Like, let's be honest. California was weird and stuffy, and then hockey came and changed everything. So there you go, Gretzky, and now we got cool pomade and Violent and you guys.
Well, thank you, sir. I think changing the landscape, right, from roller hockey rinks to ice hockey rinks, that doesn't happen without Gretzky showing up. The Ducks don't happen without, you know, Gretzky showing up with Disney and all that. And my goodness, what a ripple effect for us California boys.
So what silver stick, man, that silver stick that he used when he got to the Kings, it was like,
dude,
like the holy grail of hockey sticks. You're like, what is this thing?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So we appreciate that. And yeah, it just changed everything for us in California. You think surfing, you think, you know, everything but hockey out here, you know, but we throw that all away because now it is my closet is Violent Gentleman. So shout out to Violent Gentleman, you know?
There you go.
It's so funny. The early days of the Knights, my God, it's 4 or 5 years ago, you know, 2018
5 seasons.
Five.
The buzz around the team right now this season is pretty special, you know.
Oh, we'll get into that. Trust me.
There's a lot of questions still to be answered, but I want to get through to All-Star break and see what we get Pacioretty back from his wrist injury. And can you imagine if Stone, Patches, and Eichel are on the same line?
You're rubbing it in at that point. And that's what's going to happen in the playoffs. I'm waiting for the playoffs to start.
Who knows, man? But all I can say is, like, from a fan of the game, again, I work for the Golden Knights, but I as a spectator of the game, you just got to be excited to see these guys play together, regardless of who you root for. You're going to be upset when they throw 5 or 6 on your team in a game, but just seeing these guys play together, I think, is just going to be exciting for the sport, and it'll draw attention. And, you know, again, at the end of the day, we want to grow the game. We want fans tuning in all over the place. I think those 3 guys certainly are going to be exciting to watch.
No, absolutely. So going back to that 2018 team and how fun that was for you, some of the personalities, I mean, you're around the team. So, I mean, being around the Revos, the Flowers of the world, you know, can you talk about maybe a couple cool stories being around some of those guys, you know, through that run?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I loved watching was, you know, I had been in Vegas for about 7 years at that point. And not that I carry the same weight around in the community as they do, but the entertainment community is really embraced in Las Vegas. If you're performing on the Strip in a show, you know, you're getting invited to dinners, restaurants want you to come and hang out, and they take care of you. There's this really cool service industry aspect where if the Strip is going, Vegas is going, and we all support each other, whether you're cleaning a room or you're the pit boss behind some tables at the casino, or if you're on stage in a show. Everybody is there for the same reason. It's to make sure those 50 million people who come to Vegas every year have a great time and they can forget about all their BS for a little while. So what was really exciting to witness was the players seeing that for the first time, seeing how the community embraced them. And listen, these athletes, they're embraced in every community, whether you're playing in Buffalo, Toronto, Long Island, it doesn't matter. You're a, you know, professional athlete, you're a celebrity, but Vegas is different. And it was interesting to see these guys understand that Vegas takes that hospitality level to a whole new planet. And, you know, there were some great moments, not so great moments, guys getting off elevators in casinos with one shoe on, you know, and that Vegas flu term started floating around. And, you know, that was interesting to see. But I think guys caught on quickly on how special it is to play in Las Vegas. And I think you're starting to see that across the league now, where guys want to get traded to Vegas. They want to come play here. From a financial standpoint, there's no state tax. So you want to play in Toronto and give 35-40% of it to the government, or do you want to come to Vegas where there's no snow and you're getting dinners and bottles whenever you want, you know? So it's a cool environment. And I think a lot of guys made the most of it. I think Revo's the perfect example. You mentioned him, you know, he started a beer here. He started a beer line. We were at a charity golf tournament one day and he walked by and I said, Revo, what's up with the beer? He's like, I'm looking for a distributor. I was like, hang on. I was like, excuse me, Pete, get over here. And literally my boy was in the tournament who worked Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits. And I said, meet Ryan Reeves. He goes, really? Gave him a big bro hug. I was like, listen, he just started a beer. He needs a distributor. That deal got done at a charity golf tournament. Revo still owes me a few cases. But, you know, it's that kind of, you know, experience in Vegas. It's a small town. We're creeping up on 3 million people who live here. But it's a small town. Everybody knows each other and we all have there's enough for everybody, right? So we want everybody to be successful. And the players are really starting to buy into the community element of it. And, you know, again, $2 million home here in Las Vegas is probably worth 35-40 million where you live. So
yeah,
they're doing okay.
Wow. What great networking. Go ahead, Corey.
I was going to say, if you're Revo, you got to leverage that. I mean, he was a fan favorite when he was there. You're going to get all the sales.
So tonight we're playing, well, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but tonight we're playing the Rangers. So we're welcoming back Gallant and Revo.
Awesome.
His ovation is going to be unreal. It's going to be a pretty special night for us. We're doing a special tribute to Coach and we're doing a special tribute to Revo with our in-game prez, as all the teams do. But Revo definitely made his mark on Las Vegas, still does. You know, he's still here, even though he's in a Ranger blue.
Absolutely. And you mentioned no state tax. You don't have to deal with the media. It's cheap living, great hockey team, and the best barn to play in. Great entertainment.
The barn is unreal. You know,
Unreal.
we're blessed. T-Mobile's only 5 years old, and you know, Allegiant Stadium right across the street, $1 billion football stadium like SoFi in Cali. You know, beautiful place, best restaurants, best housing, best entertainment, best escapes. 2.5 hours in any direction. You're in the mountains. You're in Utah. You're back on the beach in Cali. It's why I'm still here, to be honest. You know, I'm a kid from Northern Ontario, like I said, and I lived in New York City. I lived in LA, and I got out here and I was like, what's going on? What is all this? I'm like, okay, we're good. You know, we'll set up shop here for a bit.
What a place to network too. I mean, you've had like celebrities come through and like pump up the crowd with you at the beginning. Little John, probably Diplo with the Raiders I saw, and like all these different EDM DJs. What's that been like in the people you met?
It's been unbelievable. Like everybody wants to, you know, Celine Dion changed the game for entertainment in Las Vegas. When she announced her residency, it pivoted quickly in the eyes of the entertainment community, because originally Vegas was the place you went to end your career. And now it's the place where you can launch your career. It really is. We're seeing a lot of TikTok influencers and young kids coming out to do things, and businesses like iconic, legendary businesses based in California setting up, you know, Vegas options now, because so many celebrities from Los Angeles are making their way here, because it's not just coming out for shrimp cocktails and concerts anymore. We have pro sports. We have these incredible resorts. The best chefs are opening restaurants here left and right, because I'm not in the restaurant world. I eat a lot of food, but I can't imagine opening a restaurant in Manhattan or Los Angeles in the Beverly Hills area versus opening one at the Bellagio, you know? So it's just such a great city. I've met so many incredible people. And at the end of the day, we say the word celebrity a lot. They're just people. And having had the opportunity to either interview them or work alongside them in some capacity, it's just been humbling and really just an honor to get to know some of these folks. And, you know, I got a couple of them on speed dial now on my phone, and it's just like anything else. Like, I'm buying a house here. I'm okay. So
Yeah.
it's been a trip. Shania Twain is a huge Vegas fan. Now her residency is here. Great Canadian, and she comes to all of our games. She'll text me, "You need me to do the siren?" I'm like, "No, Shania, you can't do the siren for the 12th time." So it's been a trip, man. I can't complain on any front. It's a lot of work, but it's just a true blessing.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous, man. If you guys are hiring, let us know. We'll come in and we'll do a little spin. The RB Show Boys will spin it for
Let's
you guys.
go. Let's go.
Let us know. I'll get it.
Get us
That'd
in
be
the mix.
nuts.
Yeah, you guys should
yeah.
definitely come out for All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, we'd love to.
It's just everybody in the hockey world is going to descend on Vegas that weekend, and there's so many fun things planned. It's going to be a riot. So you guys should definitely come out.
We would love to. So, I mean, on that note, I mean, and you're a very humble guy, but I mean, how many times are you getting recognized? And these are smart fans. Like, you're walking around the strip. Are you getting recognized pretty frequently, just doing your day to day?
Yeah, it's changed a bit. And I think that's just because of the popularity of the team, right? It goes back to what we were talking about with the shooting and the launching of the Vegas born hashtag. Pretty much anybody associated with the Golden Knights has, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, if I'm in Trader Joe's, it's a high five. It's hey, Shunock, love what you do, man. Get them going. It's nighttime. So,
yeah, that's so cool.
You just sort of take it and you roll with it. There are times when it's not cool. So I'm getting to experience that a little bit, but not nearly like the players and other folks. I love it. I embrace it. Again, it goes back to just being a fan. And I think that's what resonates with all of my employers. Like, I get hired because they just see me as this goofy fan. And, I'm just honored to be able to work in sports. It's a treat.
That's awesome. It's with Bill Foley leading the way, right? And getting a team there. You guys were overdue. You needed a team there. 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams. Now it's the Raiders, and you're helping the Raiders out being an in-arena host. How's that been? What's the experience like working for the Raiders?
I was a Sunday ticket guy before my job with the Raiders, right? Like, I had the DirecTV, all the channels, Sunday ticket. I wanted all the games up in front of me. I love football. I really do. Not to compare it to hockey, because I think there is no comparison when you're talking about live sports. I think hockey is hands down the best sport on the planet to watch live. I'll go toe to toe with anybody all day long on that one. You get into a hockey arena, you're going to be blown away. You go to a basketball game, you're looking at Khloe Kardashian instead of LeBron James. It's that slow and boring.
Yep.
But football, is tricky. Like, I want to go nuts when Derek Carr's got the ball, and it's the complete opposite. It's like, shh, offense is working. I'm like, what is this offense working? Let's get loud. Let's put it in the end zone. So, it took me a minute to figure out the ins and outs of the in-game experience in the stadium. But let me tell you, when you tell somebody, or you get on the mic and you say, hey guys, let's get loud, and 70,000 people come back at you, that's a big difference than 18,000 at a hockey game. It is unbelievable. Raider Nation has got to be the best fan base in football. They are absolutely insane for all the right reasons. They just want to win. And that's our slogan at Raiders, man. Just win, baby. And to be thrown into the mix and be welcomed into the Raider family, it's unbelievable. Our owner, Mark Davis, is one of the most humble, genuine guys I've ever had the privilege of meeting. And, he hugs me in the hall every time he sees me. I get a hug from the guy in white. And I'm like, what the heck is life right now? So I'm learning, I've got a lot of work to do with the Raiders, but I'm excited for this journey. This is my first season with them. We have a massive game Sunday night. We play your team, obviously, and the winner comes to the playoffs. And so, how cool would it be as a fan base for our first season with fans in our brand new stadium to make the playoffs? And, I'm going to bring it. It's my job. It's my, I'm that guy who gets the fire started in the building. And I want to tip my cap to the guys, but I want them to tip their cap to me when they go, oh my God, these guys brought it this weekend. And, hopefully we can push them into the playoffs, because as you guys know, get into the playoffs, anything happens.
Yeah. How are you getting yourself all jacked up before these games? Like, I mean, I know what I'd be doing, but I'm curious what you would be doing. I mean, personally, I'd be in the shower just screaming my ass off, just getting it going.
Hey, that's a great question, because again,
let's go. Like, what are you doing? Because I mean, your level is. I tell people all the time.
I'm a Broadway guy, so I do that traditional 30-minute Broadway voice warm-up.
Yeah.
Instead of going out and singing 80s tunes and Rock of Ages or a little Hakuna Matata, I'm about to, just get this crowd going. And again, I'm so appreciative for the opportunity, and I'm a fan. Walking into a stadium. Some things are scripted. Sometimes my bosses say, Shunock, go at it. It's all yours. You got 2 minutes, get them going. And I love when that happens. I wish we weren't still in this pandemic sort of situation, because I love jumping in the crowd. I'm like moving people out of the way. I got crazy stories, man. Like,
give it to us.
Two fans at Golden Knights games, and we're doing, a hype moment, and some dude's eating pizza. He starts shoving it in my mouth. So I start taking bites of his pizza. We're live on camera. Place is going crazy. The guy beside me starts kissing my cheek. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh my God.
We literally pivoted in real time to a kiss cam because some drunk fan was making out with me. Another one's feeding me pizza. I love that. Like, I love the interaction. And I hope we can get back to that, because right now, most of my responsibilities are on these little isolated areas. It still translates because I'm right there in front of everybody. But, the days of standing in a section and having that camera back out and reveal, thousands of people around me, that hasn't happened in a while. And I'm looking forward to those days when we get back safely and just go nuts.
I know. And in my first experience going out there, they respond so well, but so quickly to you. And the second you start getting, they immediate, and I've never seen it. And kind of going into my next comment is like, they go nuts. I took someone to the Montreal series this past year. I know how it ended was unfortunate, but I went to game 1 and it was great. You guys won. It was loud. Then I take that same person to a Ducks game this season. They go, what the hell? I go, I'm so sorry. Nothing compares to Vegas. Nothing.
Yeah,
this is church. That's Vegas. Let's be very clear.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, Toronto, man. Toronto's the worst. And I grew up a big Leafs fan. The whole lower bowl in Toronto, and I don't care who hears this, it's a bunch of suits reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. I've been to a gazillion Leafs games, and it's crickets. And I still love the Leafs. I'm a hockey guy. I love the Leafs, but I agree with you. But, also you got to understand, we're a new market. And a lot of the things that we're doing, you can't do in Philadelphia. You can't do in Boston. That fan base would stab you and tell you to get out of town. You would probably leave the building missing an earlobe, and you'd have a black eye, and that's okay, because those markets are legendary. I love going to Long Island and watch the Islanders play, but I can't do what I do in Long Island. I'd get kicked in the balls. So, we have the Blue Man Group in town. So of course we're going to take the Blue Man Group and we're going to stick them in the stands, and camera's going to pan to reveal the Blue Man Group. It's because it's Vegas. Chris Angel's going to descend from the ceiling in a straitjacket because it's Vegas. So we're fortunate that we have the resources we do, and we'd be crazy not to use them. So it's loud, it's exciting. There's a show within a show, and it makes coming to the games a whole lot more fun than most markets. And again, not saying other markets aren't doing what they should be doing. It's just, we're different. It's Vegas. People want, maybe we can all throw shrimp cocktails on the ice next season. I don't know.
There's not many hockey markets that have like a playoff atmosphere during the regular season on a Monday night, like Bobby said. You guys have that. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
How crazy it is. And we love that.
I don't know how it happened. Again, it goes back to Johnny and Aaron setting the bar high in season 1, and we're just trying to maintain. But I think if we didn't do it now, fans would be pissed. Like, they come expecting it, even the stuff they don't like, they still want to hear it. I get blown up on social, like, stop doing that hit. It's terrible. But then if we don't do it, they're like, where's the hit that I hated?
The Vegas fan is so spoiled because they have no idea what it's like. In a great way, but they're so spoiled. Playoffs every year, you doing what you do so well. It's like, again, the Ducks should take notes from you guys, because you can't hear anything. It's like we're listening to an iPhone speaker when you walk into the place, and it's the worst. But again, it's just, my God. But hey, transition a little bit here, Mark. Hakuna Matata. Let's talk about that real quick. Mr. Timon, how did you get into the Lion King? And I love it because we love the Lion King. We love Pumbaa over here. What got you into that? That's so cool.
Timing. Everything's timing in life, right? And like I said, I moved to New York when I was 20 years old. Played as long as I could. I was a goalie in the Canadian Hockey League. I played for the Belleville Bulls, and that team doesn't even exist anymore. And after my hockey days were over, I wanted to do. I knew I was this goofy guy who used to sing at the back of the bus. And I asked my parents, I said, hey, look, I think I want to look at New York and look at some theater training and some acting training. And I wasn't into musicals. I wasn't, oh, I want to go do show tunes and dance around. That's who I was. I wanted to be Marlon Brando. I wanted to be James Dean. I wanted to understand the craft of what it meant to be an actor. I wanted to rip scripts apart. And so, I just researched and studied with some of the greatest, and I mean this sincerely. Like, I was able to study under Win Handman at Carnegie Hall in his private little classroom upstairs, where it was a bunch of working actors just hanging out on Wednesday and Thursday nights doing scenes and really understanding what it was to be an actor. And I was, again, I'm from Canada, so I had a very heavy, thick Canadian accent, and I had to swallow some tough pills, right? I didn't work for a while. I had to, just get good at what I was doing. And timing is everything. And the older you get in the business, the more you understand what you can and can't do. When I was a young actor, I was like pissed off that I couldn't do that show, or I wasn't getting that show. I can do that. And realistically, no, you can't. And, the role came up. The kid was leaving the show, and I auditioned, and Nathan Lane did the voice in the movie. We all know the voice, and, I worked hard and walked into the room and auditioned, and they're like, this guy's cool. And if you've seen the Broadway show, we carry puppets. So I had a, giant meerkat puppet in front of me, 4.5 feet tall, almost as tall as I am. And, I did the voice and sang the songs, and such a legendary, iconic role. And that sort of started my career off, I think, in New York, because once you prove to somebody that you can do 8 shows a week and handle the workload, other jobs start to pop up. And that's just what happened for me. So again, I loved working for Disney, loved playing Timon. And it was an experience that'll carry with me forever. And the fact that we can talk about it on a sports show, pretty cool. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, no, we love it. We love it. That's between Rock of Ages and Lion King. I mean, what were the biggest differences, and what did you like? What was the pluses on Rock of Ages compared to Lion King?
I loved the experience of seeing kids' faces light up when we came out. The Broadway show is set up that Pumbaa and Timon don't take the stage until the end of the first act, when the kid thinks it's his fault that his father died in the stampede, and Timon comes running out, get out of here. Those buzzards are going to swoop down and eat the kid. And we're like, get out of here. Hey kid, what's eating you? Nothing. He's at the top of the food chain. Just that first moment, seeing kids' eyes light up is something that I'll have with me forever. And one of my best buddies in the show, Ben Lippitz, he's still doing the show, believe it or not. To this day, he's been doing it for 15, 20 years. He was my partner. He played Pumbaa. And I don't know if it was his quote or somebody else's, but some people out there are seeing the show for the first time, and some people out there are seeing their last show. Yeah, people walk into a hockey game, and I carry it with me in sports too. It could be their first game at the Golden Knights or their last hockey game, and
right.
I carry that with me now with everything that I do. So whether I'm coming on this show or I'm hosting an event, that's how I keep things fresh. That's how I get motivated to do what I do. A little coffee as well.
So I want to take it back real quick to something you just did. You just took part in, and that was the Winter Classic up in Minnesota, the St. Louis Blues at the Minnesota Wild. And that was the most freezing fucking experience of your life, I'm sure. The coldest Winter Classic. Wow.
Listen, I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie. We get cold weather. This was something completely different. It was disgusting.
-6. Wasn't it -6 or something? It was like the coldest one.
Yeah, I think ESPN put out a thing on social. It was the 3rd coldest sporting event of all time, and the 2 above it were Green Bay Packers football games from the 60s or something like that. It was ridiculous. The fans in Minnesota are nuts. It's the state of hockey for a reason. They're insane, passionate diehards. Guys are dumping beers on themselves. It's -60 with the wind chill. They got frozen beards. I was masked up and hat, multiple layers. I got off and my eyebrows were just frozen. Like I had ice in my eyebrows. But it is the premier event for the NHL. It's iconic. And when you walk into, and like the first one I did for the league was at Notre Dame Stadium. So when you walk into these stadiums and there's a hockey game about to be played, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Right. Bruins, Blackhawks. I wanted to mention that one too.
Dude, unbelievable. You know, like these franchises, they're all storied franchises now at this point. And it was what I was talking about with the noise at a Raiders game, you know, 65, 70,000 people at a football game. And now you put hockey fans into that type of environment. It takes it to a whole new level, man. And it's, again, I'm honored to work for the league. I love that they call me and include me. I got the Stadium Series in Nashville this year, Heritage Classic in Hamilton. And then the All-Star Weekend is in our backyard here. So it's unreal. It's the best sport. It's the best game to watch live. And when you put them in these weird stadiums, football or baseball stadium, it's awesome. It's just, there's nothing better.
What you were doing in Minnesota, was it similar to what you do in Vegas, or what did they have you do during that event this past weekend?
Yeah, all same in-arena hype, pump
Wow.
up stuff, sponsored hits, player interviews as they're coming off the ice at intermission, just to get, you know, some interviews to the fans in the building. You know, it's low hanging fruit interview stuff. You know, it's just like, hey, what's it like playing in this environment? You got the best fans in the world, you know? And so I'm interviewing Wild players, just teeing it up for the fans, making the experience for the fans, everything it can be and more. I call it low hanging fruit, but I think it does complement to the experience. You know, when fans get to hear a player acknowledge them and thank them for hanging out in negative 2,000 degree weather. Like it was a cool night. It was cold, but we got through it. And the pictures and the clips are going to live on forever. There was a kid who did a Herb Brooks impersonation that went viral on social that we did. And we had lumberjacks in the outfield. It was bizarre, but it was awesome.
That's great.
Take a hot shower right after that, huh? Just to get out of that cold. My gosh.
Get in the sauna.
Brutal. It was
Were people just pounding beers, Mark? Just like downing beers just to stay hot?
We gave away some prizes for fan of the game, and the guy who won fan of the game smashed 2 beers together, poured them all over his face, and he was literally walking around with a beard icicle. Like the beer went into his beard.
That's awesome.
Froze, and he did nothing about it. So it was just insane. The guy's walking around. We went to him on the camera probably 4 times because this beard became like this thing. It was outstanding.
So in transitioning, I want to talk about what you've done for the city of Vegas. You've given back so much to them by raising money. Monday's Dark. You got to dive into that for me. I know you're doing some type of thing with entertainment with that to give back, and that's a positive impact on Vegas and the world. Tell me about that.
Yeah, appreciate you bringing it up. So it goes back to year 1 when I moved here, and I was talking about how the community embraces entertainers. And so I tell this story a lot. We would get invited to events a lot as the leads in Rock of Ages, and we'd have to put our goofy 80s costume on. We'd go to the red carpet, take a picture in costume, and then leave. And those events were always for some form of nonprofit here in the community. And they just wanted the entertainers to take pictures on the carpet to generate some buzz. But I felt bad because I'd have to go back to the theater and do the show, and I couldn't stay for the event. So Rock of Ages was following the traditional Broadway schedule, and that's where the name comes from. We were dark on Mondays. So I started throwing a party called Monday's Dark. And what I would do is I would just reach out to local entertainers, headliners on the Strip, and I'd say, hey, I'm throwing a party on Monday night. Will you show up and get on stage and do something? And they were like, yeah, sure. And that's how it started. So now what it is 8 years later, we pick a different local charity every other week. I throw a 90-minute party. It's a variety show that I host. And in 90 minutes, we write a check for 10 grand to a different charity every 2 weeks. Tickets are $20, so it's super affordable. Anybody can come, and you're seeing all this incredible talent from the Strip. So Monday's Dark, it's a variety show. It's every other Monday, and it's a guaranteed $10,000 to a different local charity. We've partnered with about 140 local charities to date. They've each received 10 grand, so 1.4 million raised so far. And we've got some huge announcements coming this year. We're going to expand our operations out of the space and continue to give back even more to the community. I think it's important. You know, I've been given a platform through boxing, football, and hockey, and then obviously my Broadway shows. And this is just a way for my small team to give back, because like I said, I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. I can't retire, I'm not making millions of dollars, but I have fun doing what I do. And I think it's important to support the community that you live in. And this is our way of giving back. So Monday's Dark is my little passion project. And I just appreciate you guys for even bringing it up. It's cool that you noticed.
I'll tell you this, Mark, we love to support that charity, the boys here at the RB podcast. So anything we can do to help, let us know. We'd love to join you on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
You got it. On that note, with Top Rank Boxing, can you tell the listeners how you kind of got involved with them? I know the story, but can you tell everybody how you got? It's really cool how you got going to MSG and involved with it's like, dude, you got the coolest life. I'm so jealous of you, man.
It's crazy.
It's stupid.
Golden Knights, right? It's all about a kid from Northern Ontario who wanted to work in hockey.
Yes, sir.
Literally where I am right now is because I had the balls to pick up the phone and call Fidelity Financial and say, I want to help bring a pro hockey team to Vegas. That's it. I called them. They gave me this job as the in-arena host. And there have been, like, when I had no idea what an in-arena host even did at the time, right? And now that I've sort of been thrown into this mix, I'm now taking notice of people who started their careers as the in-arena host for a team and have gone on to other roles. For example, the Golden Knights asked one day if I wanted to become the rinkside reporter and travel with the team and do all that stuff. And it just wasn't in the cards for me. It just, it was a major commitment. And at that time, I wasn't ready for that. But Top Rank Boxing is based in Las Vegas. And again, I was a casual boxing fan at the time. I would do the pay-per-views. I'd watch the Mayweather fights, the Pacquiao fights. And then, the Top Rank executive team came to a hockey game and they're like, we need to hire that guy. It was literally just that. And so CAA Sports, based in Cali, CAA called me out of the blue one day and said, hey, we're looking for Mark Shunock. And I thought it was a joke. I'm like, who's pranking me calling from CAA? Again, I've been in the entertainment business for 20 years. So I definitely know who CAA is, but they represent ESPN and Top Rank. And they said, hey, you want to meet with Top Rank? I was like, hell yeah, I want to meet with Top Rank. I walk into the offices here in Vegas. It's the legend Bob Arum himself sitting at a desk, Todd DeBuff, Brad Jacobs. And they're like, hey, we have no in-arena activations whatsoever. And that's something I didn't know because, again, I watch UFC and boxing like you guys are on pay-per-view. I'm like everybody else. I pay-per-view it and I watch. Little did I know that if some dude gets knocked out in the first fight in the first round, the second fight isn't starting for 30 more minutes because it's programmed for TV. So you have 20,000 people sitting in an arena bored off their butts. And so I just came in and started doing fun shit for Top Rank, and it evolved. I've been with the company now for about 3 years. It started as, you're just going to be our hype guy, make our environment not boring, come up with cool ideas, to hosting the press conferences for the main event, doing the weigh-ins on Friday for every fight, and now being in the ring announcing all of the fights on Saturday night. And like you just said, I just did an event at Madison Square Garden not the Hulu Theater, in the arena, first time ever, introducing fighters in a ring underneath that iconic roof at MSG. And I'm like, what is life? And, now Mike Buffer's a buddy and Bruce Buffer's a buddy and Jimmy Lennon Jr. does main events for it's been insane. But what I love about all of this is just getting to know these professional athletes, especially the fighters. Their story is not like a hockey player's. It's not like a baseball player. It's not a football player. A lot of these guys are literally fighting for their lives, and they're fighting to get out of a situation that is just not the greatest. And just, learning about their upbringings, where they're from. It's just been a joy, actually, to meet these guys and do the research on them. So when I'm sitting with them at a press conference and we're talking, it's been outstanding. But again, it all comes back to the passion of the game of hockey and wanting to just help bring a team to Vegas and getting involved with the franchise. And that's opened so many doors for me. So I'll be forever grateful for the Vegas Golden Knights, and I love the small role I play with them, and I'm going to try and keep it as long as I can, schedule permitting. It's becoming more and more challenging to schedule an NHL season, an NFL season, and 30 Top Rank fights, but it's okay. We're rolling.
You're living out a movie right now, man. You're living
awesome.
out a movie. You got to love it. Hey, quick question though. Have you got, you probably met Bob Bennett, the commissioner of boxing?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little backstory on him real quick. Our parents. So his brother, Brian Bennett, is my dad's best friend. He's
No
the one
way.
that hooked my parents up.
No way.
Yeah, so Bob Bennett is a very close friend of my dad's, actually. So I had to bring that up. You probably came across him a bunch of times.
I every fight that we have in Las Vegas, I'm right beside Bob at the end of every fight. So the way it works with me, every ring announcer is different. But I pre-make cards so that I basically have all of the fighters' information in front of me, but then I also pre-make a results card. So I have who's fighting, who the judges are, and then I have these little bullet points that that help me with the decision, whether it's a split, unanimous, whatever. Some ring announcers just go into the ring and wait for the commission to fill out the form, and then they hand it up to them in the ring. I actually prefer to go stand behind the commission. I'm looking over their shoulder actually while they're tallying the scores, if it goes the distance. And then I confirm with them. I actually say out loud what I'm going to say to the commission so that we're on the same page. And then I walk into the ring, and Bob is fantastic. And he basically helped me out of the gate, because I started doing ring announcing during the bubble, the pandemic. Top Rank went into a bubble here at MGM Grand, and all of our fights for a year took place at MGM Grand in Nevada. So we were sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, run by Bob. So he basically helped me get my feet wet, so to speak, and getting comfortable in that ring, because there's nothing worse than a ring announcer who screws up the decision. I've been there. I've done it once. I'll never do it again. And, you learn the hard way sometimes.
No doubt about it. So kind of in winding down here, Mark, because you're a busy man. We know that for sure after talking to you. Where do you see the Knights this season kind of ending up as a team? We talked about before we jumped on, but so much talent, obviously getting Eichel here. The surgery's been done and he's coming back here for the playoffs, and, the Pacioretty's, the Eichels, the Stones of the world. You got, Leonard in the back end. This team is special. What do you see? Is this the year? Is this it?
I think there are windows for pro sports teams when they get lineups like this together. I hate to look back on last season, but we should have beat Montreal. We should have made the finals. I think this season there is a very clear path for us, but you guys know better than anybody that the game really doesn't start until after All-Star break. Maybe a couple of weeks after All-Star, you see that level of play really pick up. So we'll see if the guys actually, can take it to a completely different level. I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. You never want to jinx anything, but I think if there was a year that they could pull it off, it's now. I think there's probably going to be another trade or two. I think there has to be, with our cap situation with Eichel coming in. So we'll see how that plays out. Our goaltender, who I adore, 90, he actually played in Sault Ste. Marie for the Greyhounds. So I'm a little biased. I like the guy, but without saying he's got a lot of pressure on him, he's got a lot of pressure on him. He has big shoes to fill. And Flower was such a part of our community. He was the first marquee name to join the club in the expansion draft. And, you got to hit it. You got to hit it in stride when the playoffs start. The Kings won the cup as the 8th seed and went into every round and won game 1 on the road. So it doesn't matter where you finish. You just got to make the playoffs and hope that by that time you're gelling and jiving. But man, Pacioretty comes back from a wrist injury. Stone gets healthy. Eichel joins the club. I think our defensive core is probably one of the best in the league. I think Zach Whitecloud is probably one of the most underrated defensemen on our team, and they just locked him down to a long contract. So I think they see exactly what I see. But when you got Shea Theodore and Braden McNabb and Pietrangelo on the blue line and Whitecloud, that's defense wins championships, and that's going to be the key to us. We got to make sure Leonard keeps his head on and has an incredible playoff. Our defense is going to do what they do. And then the guys up front just need to bury the puck. There's, without question, we probably have the deepest team. I think our top 3 lines are outstanding. Chandler Stevenson, like what a steal from the Capitals. And obviously George McPhee had a lot to do with that. He knew who he had in Washington, and they probably just weren't using him the way that he knew he could be using. And I'm a kid in a candy store, and I can go on for hours talking about this team. But like when you work for a franchise that's run by George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon, and Pete DeBoer's behind the bench, and you see the caliber of players that are on the ice. It's a little crazy when you walk into that arena every night and you watch warmups and you're like, man, look at these guys. Like they have built a team that can win the Stanley Cup, that without question. And so fingers crossed, we go deep in the playoffs and we get close again. Cause I think if we get close, we can do it. And our fan base will push them over to the finish line, I think.
Absolutely. In closing for me, I want to say any team can win, and you're making a point of that. You get in the playoffs, get some momentum, and you can go. I want to say the umbrella of everything you're doing, your passions, is so inspiring. You're a go-getter. You go after everything that you want, and you manifest too. I can see it. And that's something we have in common. We're going to go to the moon together, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great for the Vegas organization with the Raiders and the Knights. You're a huge piece of the puzzle. And, you know, they're lucky to have you. They're very lucky to have you. But we'll make a trip out there. We'll catch a game soon. Maybe the All-Star break. We'd love to see you, catch dinner, go see the game or whatever, and spend some time together. It'd be fun.
Please do. Coming to Vegas has its perks, man. And there's nothing wrong with a weekend in Las Vegas. You know,
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for having me on, man. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to chat it up.
Yeah, no, Mark, we absolutely loved having you. And like Corey said, and Dusty, we want to come out and see you. So in the All-Star break, we'd love to come see you and grab dinner or go to the game itself, or any game for that matter. You're a great guy. I'd love to see that phone contact list when it's all said and done. My God.
Yeah, whatever, man. Get out here. Let's have some.
Hey, we'll come out tonight. We'll come out tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, it's 1:00 our time. You can be here in time. Traffic to Vegas, no problem.
We'll take the jet. We'll take the jet from SNA Orange County.
We'll exchange the contact info for sure, and the Instagrams and stuff. But thank you so much, Mark, and thanks for joining the RWeed Show podcast.